So I made a ZINE, but before I even get into that, let me tell you the story of how I even got to the point where I could make this even possible. This story starts all the way back in July when me and my girlfriend Lisa were planning on doing something over the summer, and we decided to go on a backpacking trip across the states of Utah, Oregon, and Washington. And while we were there, I made it a goal of mine to shoot my very first rolls of film. Now, let me get this out of the way. I have shot film before, but it was always with one of those like Fuji film cameras, like the disposables, or one of the Instamax Fuji cameras. So at the start of this year, I ended up buying 3 different film cameras. The Kodak H35 half-frame camera, the Pentax IQ Zoom Easy, and my personal favorite, which is the Pentax IQ Zoom 700. And the reason I never used any of these cameras up until this trip was because I bought them all secondhand, so I just honestly didn't think they worked. And then when July ended up coming around, I decided to buy a single roll of Kodak Gold 200 and Kodak Ultramax, and I honestly just hoped for the best. While on the flight, I ended up loading the Kodak Ultramax into the Kodak Ektar H35 half frame and the Kodak Gold 200 into the Pentax 700. And my goal with this film project of mine was to capture the landscapes I visited, but also capture the travelers and people at these locations. And I have to say, I'm really proud of the photos I was able to come back with. First place we went to was Bryce, and while we were leaving, I was able to capture this photo of these 2 people. And the reason I love this photo is because the walkway leads your eyes down to the subjects as the man is taking a picture of the woman, and right behind them you just see this beautiful landscape of Bryce just sitting behind them. And I honestly just love how the composition looks. I love the framing of the man and the woman on the walkway, and I just love how you just see this massive array of Bryce's beautiful canyon landscape sitting behind them. After Bryce, we ended up making our way to the Red Canyons, which honestly led to my personal favorite photo. And I think this photo is one of my best because of the way the sun is hitting the red rocks, and the hill draws your eye up to see 2 subjects walking towards each other. And honestly, I just love how this photo came out. It's honestly my personal favorite from the whole project. The next location was ZINE National Park, which has honestly been on my bucket list for who knows how long now. And while we were there, we ended up doing the one hike that I have always dreamt of doing, which is the Narrows. And when we ended up getting to the Narrows section, I was able to capture this really, really beautiful moment of this dad and his child starting their journey down the Narrows as me and Lisa were coming back from finishing it. And I honestly love this photo because you see all the families to the left on one side, and then you just see this father and his child by themselves in the water alone on the right side. And I honestly just think the composition is beautiful. I love how the subjects looked. I love the lighting. And it's honestly just a beautiful photo that I'm so happy I was able to capture. And before our time in Utah came to an end, we spent our time in the Salt Flats, which is where I was able to capture some beautiful moments of the sunset. But more importantly, I was able to capture this beautiful moment of a man proposing to his now fiance. And I know that it worked out because you could tell by the reactions afterwards that she said yes. And it was honestly just a great moment to be able to capture on my camera. And I just love how the framing is. I loved the mountains on the backside. It's honestly just a great photo and a beautiful moment. From Utah, we went to Oregon. I'm changing into sweats. I want to be comfy for the rest of this. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, so in Oregon we found ourselves at places like Trillium Lake and Crater Lake and many more places that you can see in the ZINE. Now, Washington is a special place for me and Lisa because while we were out there on this trip, we ended up loving it so much that we've made the decision to move out there next year in 2024 during the summer. So these photos mean a lot to me because they're photos of my future home that I'll be able to look back on once I'm out there and be like, wow, these are the moments that made me want to be here. So I don't know, these photos mean more to me than just a JPEG. In Washington, we honestly went to so many places, I can't list them all. But for some quick ones, we went to the North Cascades, and from there we went to the Olympic Peninsula and saw some places like the Soul Duck Falls and the Hoh Rainforest. And from there, we ended our 2-week-long trip doing the Skyline Trail on Mount Rainier, which honestly is one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. And at the very start of this hike, I was able to capture this father and his daughter starting their journey up the mountain's hardest trail to date. And while me and Lisa were on the trail, I was able to capture more beautiful moments of friends looking into the mountain range and the beautiful landscape this place had to offer. Now, the reason I'm telling you guys this story goes back to what I talked about earlier, and that's because I made my very first ZINE. All of the photos you guys just saw, plus so many more from this trip, are in my very first draft, and luckily I have that draft right here, and I'm honestly so excited to show you guys this body of work that I've been able to create. This is beyond exciting for me because this is the first time any of my work is present in a physical form, and I've been working on this ZINE now for the last 3 months, and it's gone through so many different forms, and this isn't even the final product. This ZINE that I'm about to pull out from here is only 38 pages, where the final edit is 48 pages with over 40 different photos. Some of which I've shown you in this video, and some photos that haven't even seen the light of day yet and will only be seen through this body of work. So I'd like to present to you guys West Coast Collective. Now let me shamelessly plug for a quick second. If you want to buy this zine, you can purchase it from the very first link in the bio, and it would honestly mean so much to me if you guys did. And trust me, if you can't get your hands on this one, I have made it a goal of mine to come out with a zine every 3 months starting at the start of 2024. So by the end of March, I'll have a zine showcasing some sort of theme and story over those first 3 months, and then so forth for the rest of next year. But this is a limited run. I'm not going to keep these up forever. I want this first piece of work to be intimate and special to the people that buy it. So I'm only going to be selling 50 of them. And if you want to help support me and support my work and my art, then I would genuinely really appreciate it if you click that link and bought it. And make sure you tag me and share and let me know in the comments what you guys think of this body of art. Now, before this video comes to an end, I just want to thoroughly and properly thank Gelatin Labs. Gelatin Labs is the film lab that processed and developed all of the photos that you guys have just seen in this video, and every single photo that is in this zine. They are a fantastic company. Their customer service is great. Their time management is fantastic with their turnaround time. And they're based in the East Coast, but you can ship to them wherever you are. and their quality of work shows. They are a genuinely fantastic group of people to work with, and if you shoot film, I highly recommend sending your film to Gelatin Labs.